I've made a handful of videos about the state of DC's video game division and ways that I think Warner Brothers could go about fixing it and improving it. And in most instances, I talk about how there needs to be more chances taken on characters like Superman and Wonder Woman in the AAA space. But I also talk about how Warner Brothers should continue to rely on characters with proven track records of success like Batman. Pretty much without fail, however, I get a few comments anytime I do a video like this saying, no, there shouldn't be another Batman game. Warner Brothers really should only be focusing on new characters. We've already had a number of Batman games. There's no reason to do another one. Today I want to do a deep dive into this argument. Batman has a very prominent role in the gaming space, and I want to look at the reasons why people think it would be beneficial to just not have another Batman game, at least for the foreseeable future, and whether or not I actually think that would bring about the results they want it to. Before I get too deep into the weeds of this, please consider leaving a like and subscribe for more content like this in the future, and let me know in the comments below where you stand on this topic. Would you like to see more Batman games alongside other heroes getting AAA games, or do you think it's time for Batman to just have an extended vacation in the gaming space? Without any further ado, let's dive right in. First, let's go over the points that people make when they make this argument. The first is that there's just too many Batman games already. We've had Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight, and that's just the console games. We've also had Arkham VR, Arkham Shadow, Arkham Underworld on iPhones, Arkham City Lockdown, Arkham Origins Blackgate. And that's just the Arkham series. We also have the Lego Batman games, we have 2 seasons of Batman the Telltale series, and we even have Gotham Knights. And while that doesn't feature Batman, it is set in Batman's world in Gotham City. The next point that I see people bring up is that you're never going to be able to make another DC hero popular until you lay off Batman for a little bit. In other words, how are you going to market and distribute a Superman game if you are simultaneously marketing and distributing a Batman game? All the attention is going to go to Batman, so you need to take an extended break from that character in order to allow these other characters to shine and reach his level. The final point that I'd like to go over that I see people argue against the case for more Batman games is that it's going to continue in the Gotham Knights trajectory, where it's going to start becoming diminishing returns, where because Batman sells well, Warner Brothers is going to stop putting in effort into writing good stories and making good gameplay for the games. In other words, the way that I interpret this argument is that people are concerned that this is going to just become the next Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty, where there's almost an oversaturation of it and there's not tons of evolution between entries. Now, before I get into my rebuttals as to why I don't think any of these points hold much water and why I do think Warner Brothers and DC should still make more Batman games as they continue to flesh out more characters, I do want to give credit to people's opinions here. I can completely understand feeling a little bit resentful of the character Batman if you personally don't really care for him. If you're a huge Superman or Flash or Wonder Woman fan and you've been watching Batman fans just get served incredible content over and over, I can see why maybe you're feeling like you want the situation reversed a little bit. I can wholeheartedly see why someone who feels like their Batman itch has personally been scratched doesn't think there needs to be another one and would rather see other characters get the spotlight exclusively. I can completely agree that there should be an open world Superman game. There should be some kind of Wonder Woman game and Flash game and Green Lantern game. There's a ton of DC characters that deserve the spotlight in the gaming space, but I do not agree that that should be at the expense of new Batman games as well. Let's examine that first argument against more Batman games once again. There's just too many. Well, frankly, that's just the mark of a successful brand in the video game space. There are a lot of Batman games. There are also a lot of Spider-Man games. There's a lot of Assassin's Creed games. There were a lot of Prince of Persia games when that franchise was successful. To me, Batman's storied history in the video game medium is not a testament to how overdone he is. It's a testament to how well he works and how good of a job Warner Brothers has done with the character. And regardless of how many Batman games there have been, let's not pretend that there hasn't been quite a hiatus for Batman. Batman fans have been pretty starved in terms of getting new content for the character themselves. Gotham Knights, despite being set in Gotham City and featuring the Bat family and Batman's villains, really was not a Batman game. The last AAA console-bound Batman experience was Arkham Knight a decade ago in 2015. Now, some of you might bring up Batman the Telltale series, to which I'd say that was more of an independent game. That wasn't really a AAA experience, but fair enough. It ended in 2017, again, almost a decade ago. Injustice 2, which featured Batman, was in 2017, almost a decade ago. The last Batman game altogether so far has been Batman Arkham Shadow, exclusive to the virtual reality MetaQuest 3, which many of us did not actually get to experience, but it was received very well, which proves that Batman still works. There is still an appetite for more Arkhamverse and just Batman games in general. Batman, honestly, is the one DC character that Warner Brothers has done exactly right. They've made a bunch of really good Batman movies and Batman TV shows and Batman video games. There's a reason that that character has gained so much popularity. This brings me to my disagreement with the second argument made against the case for a new Batman game. This idea that his popularity would somehow diminish the popularity of other characters. I simply don't agree with that. It's true that the Flash and Superman and Wonder Woman are not prominent in the AAA gaming space, but that's not because Batman has been successful. That's because there hasn't been a Superman or Flash or Wonder Woman game. When the DCEU seemed to be the course of action for DC films, Wonder Woman and Aquaman were both incredibly successful, despite the fact that Batman was also featured in the DCEU. These characters can coexist. This isn't about stifling Batman's involvement and popularity in order to let these other characters rise to the top. It's looking at how well they did with the character of Batman and using him as an example and roadmap to get other characters to the same level. From a business perspective, it would be absolutely moronic. It would be one of the stupidest business decisions ever to say, we're not going to make any more Batman games. It's the one franchise they've done right. It's the one franchise that has consistently done well and there is an appetite for. The popularity of Batman games goes beyond DC fans. Pretty much the entire gaming community was lit on fire by Arkham Asylum. Those games have remained popular and relevant, again, not only to DC fans, but the gaming space in general. The Arkham brand carries weight, and to do more would be a great call for Warner Brothers. If I opened an amazing pizza joint in my town and it became super popular, and then I decided I also wanted to sell lasagna, the stupidest business decision I could make would be to say, I'm not selling pizzas anymore, I've already made too many of them, I'm selling lasagna. It's going to drive away business. People are going to be like, oh, you're not giving me what I came here for. Instead, I would need to find a way to make the lasagna appealing and draw in business for that as well. That's what DC needs to do, not shut out Batman and stop making Batman content in the hopes that other characters will really pop off financially and critically, but continue to do what works with Batman and allow other characters to rise to that level. One of my favorite things to do in videos like this is read your guys' comments about characters you'd like to see get a AAA game, and a lot of them sound really cool, especially as a DC fan myself, but let's face it, a lot of the things we'd like to see are too niche. The idea of getting a Red Hood or Deathstroke game that's a big AAA experience with the Nemesis system and the biggest DC game ever with graphics as good as GTA 6 sounds super cool as a DC fan, but would it really make money? Probably not. If somehow Insomniac were given the license to do a DC game for PlayStation, would it be cool if they picked Static Shock? Yes, but would that be likely? I doubt it. I'd say they'd probably go for a character like Superman or the Flash. Even characters like that are a bit of a gamble because they don't have much of a presence in the AAA gaming space yet. And yes, the characters are popular, they are recognizable, but we've seen a lot from the DCEU in particular that doesn't guarantee success. Even in the gaming space, Marvel released an Avengers game at the height of the Avengers' success. It was right around the same time Infinity War and Endgame was coming out. That game should have been huge, but instead it was a flop. So was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So was Gotham Knights to an extent. Just because a character is big and recognizable like Superman doesn't guarantee success. There very much is a possible world where a Superman game releases and loses $150 million for Warner Brothers. If instead Warner Brothers continues to make Batman games that continue to be profitable, that will afford them the opportunities to make some of these more niche games and make more calculated risks on other characters. Now, what about this idea that Batman just inherently sells well to the extent that it's going to become the next Call of Duty where where Warner Brothers isn't even trying, they're just pumping out quantity over quality. Well, frankly, I think we've already seen that that doesn't work. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, despite not being a Batman game, was an Arkhamverse title that featured Batman as an antagonist. That game should have sold gangbusters, but it didn't because the quality was not high. Gotham Knights, despite being a reboot from the Arkhamverse, seemed like the spiritual successor for the Bat family. It seemed like the next chapter where they had to take over Gotham after the death of Batman, and that game didn't sell particularly well or get good reviews. A number of recent DC films that have featured Batman or Batman characters have flopped at the box office. Joker 2, The Flash, which featured both Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck as Batman, bombed. It's not really up to us what the quality of the next Batman Arkham game is, but I do think that Warner Brothers and Rocksteady, who will likely be tackling future Batman Arkham games, have learned their lesson to this in some capacity. We can only hope that the next Batman games will be good, but I have a feeling they will be. I have a feeling that there really will be a dedicated effort to get this character right going forward. Overall, this idea that Batman just should not get any more games is something I completely and strongly disagree with. It would be my same reaction if people said there shouldn't be any more Spider-Man games. Look at Marvel games. They're producing games for plenty of characters and still making more Spider-Man games. These companies, of course, should continue supporting the characters that are their most popular that have done well. It shouldn't be about shutting out Spider-Man or Batman and not doing anything with them. It's about getting these other characters to follow a similar roadmap. Make great Superman movies and games and TV shows, and eventually that character will become very popular as well. I understand that there's some fans out there who won't agree with that, who think there have just been too many Batman games or that they personally don't want another one, but there's no denying that there is still an appetite for the character. He's the one character in DC's gaming resume that is doing very well, and of course they should keep doing more with him. That doesn't mean you have to keep doing the same thing with Batman either. You could do a Batman Beyond trilogy to really change things up a little bit. You change protagonists, you change who's under the mask, you change the rogues gallery and the setting a little bit, but you still get that IP and the association that comes with that from the community, where there's really strong positive feelings toward it. But those are my thoughts. I do think that they should keep making more Batman games, but simultaneously they should be putting more investment into other characters in the AAA game space, and even in the independent game space. License these characters out to small teams. I think you'd get great results from it. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and we will see you guys in the next one.